Good evening, everyone, or good morning to people who live in different countries. This is Unicorn Fan here. So today I'm going to be talking about what does Romans 10:17 mean when it comes to the verse saying that faith comes by hearing. So Romans has a theme of faith, which is Romans 1:16-17, and Paul addresses a process by which faith is produced in the heart in Romans 10:17. Faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard throughout the word about Christ. So the first the first 8 chapters of Romans contends with the ideas of salvation through faith, the process of growing in holiness through faith, and the future glorification Christians will receive because of faith. So it is within this context that Paul gives the reason for the Israelites' lack of salvation, namely, they lack faith. The Israelites are saved through faith in Christ, just like the Gentiles, and that eternal salvation does not distinguish between Gentile or Jew, but it is received through belief in the person and the work of Jesus Christ. So Romans 10:14-16 explains the requirements for a series of actions to take place. In order for one to call on the name of the Lord, he or she must believe. And in order to believe, one must hear or receive the word. And in order for one to hear, another has to give the report. And that other won't give the report unless he or she is sent. So Paul continues in Romans 10:17 to summarize the argument thus far when it comes to faith comes from hearing, and hearing by the word of Christ. So faith, which means belief, trust, or confidence in someone or something, it is the key to the book of Romans and is used 40 times in the book. The verb form of the word is also used 21 times within the book and most often translated as believe. So if faith comes by hearing, then what does Paul mean by hearing? So what he means is it's not simply the physical receiving of sounds by the ear as most people would understand the term. Hearing seems to designate something more, which is receiving or acceptance of a report. So it says here, Paul quotes in Isaiah 53:1, Lord, who has believed our message? So the Lord had provided Israel with a message, but the prophet laments that few actually receive it. The hearing was not attached to simple sounds, but to a message or report given. So in Romans 10, Paul makes the good point that the good news has been given and the people of Israel have heard of it. So the nature of the gospel is a report of God saving people from the wrath that we all deserve. And in order to believe the report, one must receive the report. Faith comes by hearing. It is not guaranteed that the report will result in faith, as Paul makes clear in Romans 10:16. So every human today can refuse to believe the message of the gospel.